Good evening and welcome to the Weekend News. I am Kojo Kwafor. Coming up in tonight's edition of the Weekend News, the National Union of Sierra Leone Students (NUS) organizes awards ceremony for the best pupils in the National Primary School Basic Education Certificate and West African Senior School Certificate examinations. The Senior Vice President, Worldwide Manufacturing and New Business Development pays a courtesy call on President Ernest Bai. A Sierra Leonean living in the United States, Harun Rashid Din, donates a consignment of assorted textbooks to the Mass Communications Department of Rabe College. All those stories and more, including business and sports news, are lined up in tonight's edition of the Weekend News. The Dole Packed Foods Senior Vice President, Worldwide Manufacturing and New Business Development, Danko Stambuk, has paid a courtesy call on the President at State House. Razia Bashkumar sent in this report.
Introducing the team, the chairman, Sierra Leone Import and Export Promotion Agency, Oluniyi Robin Coker, said he met with Mr. Stambuk and associates in Washington last year, and he expressed interest in coming to Sierra Leone and doing a food processing and canning facility with an open market for export. Mr. Robin Coker told the president that the team has been working fervently with the Ministries of Agriculture, Forestry and Food Security and Trade and Industry on a memorandum of understanding has already been signed. He informed the president that the team is here to finalize arrangements for the implementation of the project. Dole Packaged Foods Senior Vice President Worldwide Manufacturing and New Business Development, Danko Stambuk, expressed delight to meet with President Kuruma for a second time and registered his sympathy for the Ebola epidemic the country suffered. He maintained that the last time he was in Sierra Leone, the epidemic just started and that it was not going to last long, which unfortunately did not happen. Mr. Stambuk pointed out that they have developed a nursery with Sierra Rutal, who they believed they should help as the development is for the interest of the country. The Dole Packaged Foods Senior Vice President maintained that they also organized and developed designs with a computer, and they developed nurseries in Costa Rica, Honduras, and Thailand to be able to bring enough seedlings to Sierra Leone to start the project. He added that they also did the environmental impact assessment that is almost completed, and they have identified the land where they could put one of the sites and then see if any other place exists.
So once we form our plantation, we also are intending to train your people to do grower program so that we can make them self-sustainable. I am not going to tell you that this is very easy. It's very difficult, and I told this to every minister that we met, and I told this to your people yesterday, that we are here in good faith, but that we need their support, government support, which we have, and I told them the government care about them. I sense it that from every minister that we discuss it. I sense it from you when I was here last time with you, I think a year and a half, almost 2 years. And I tell, but you need to be happy that we are here, that we can work together.
Welcoming the senior vice president to the country, President Kuruma said he is pleased that they have come to the point of almost starting the implementation of the great agricultural project that they are looking forward to as a government and country. The president observed that he made his position very clear to them when they met to provide them with all it takes to ensure that the project succeeds. He maintained that as a government they have that view because they need to ensure that they build up the agricultural sector. The president pointed out that what has recently happened has further reinforced the fact that government really has to diversify the economy and lay emphasis on the opening of the agricultural sector which is exactly what Dole Packaged Foods is coming to do in the country. He noted that as a president, he is happy with the approach and admitted that the country's climatic conditions are favorable, but they will also need to make some adaptations. President Kuruma pointed out that he is sure with time they will, as a company, be able to adapt with even the sunny conditions, adding that it is again important that they keep a very amicable relationship with the communities.
We met before Ebola, and our thinking then was to diversify the economy. And what has recently happened has further, reinforced that fact that we have to diversify the economy. We have to pay a lot of emphasis in opening up the agricultural sector, and this is exactly what you are coming in to do. I am again happy with your approach. Yes, our climatic conditions are favorable, but you also have to maybe make some adaptations here and there based on, but I'm sure with time you'll be able to adapt, and even our soil conditions. Now, it is again important that we keep a very amicable relationship with the communities, because at the end of the day, they are going to be the major players.
The senior vice president of Sierra Tropical Parent Company, DOE, a multilateral company, Danko Stabuk, has assaulted residents of Lubu Chiefdom in the Bo district that the long-awaited multi-million dollars agricultural project will soon commence. The investor gave the assurance during the landowners' consultative meeting held at Sumbuya. Sheikh Usmaila has more.
The senior president of Sierra Tropical Company, Danko Stambuk, said they are ready to implement the agricultural project. He informed the gathering comprising landowners, traditional leaders, residents, women, youths, representatives of the Sierra Leone Investment and Export Promotion Agency, SDPA, and other important personalities that they should have started operation long ago, but the outbreak of Ebola delayed the process. He informed that after several researches and investigations, Lubu was earmarked for viability of pineapple and other fruits that they intend to plant and process. He disclosed that they are conducting nursing in some countries for the implementation of the Lubu project. Mr. Stanbuk said they are going to send the best experts here to start this project and also provide capacity building for locals. He said the company started operation over 50 years ago in the Philippines when many people were skeptical.
It's very important to understand why we want to be here. You have land, you have lots of people that want to work. You have local excellent government. You have very proactive chief that want to do something good for his people. You have very proactive government in Freeport that give us several options and ask us, this will be the best place for you to come. Your government is care about you, and they would like to see prosperity here in your province.
In his address, Paramount Chief of Sumbuya Chiefdom, Alhaji Mohammed Nalu V, extended appreciation to the investors. He thanked SDPA and the government for taking such a flagship and enviable project to their doorsteps. This project is a fantastic development and will improve the lives of thousands of residents, he noted, adding that since the 1930s, when they started mining, much has not been achieved. Victor Bangura of SDPA said in the last few years, they have always visited Sumbuya to explain the cause of the Sierra Tropical investment. Mr. Bangura noted that the project was meant for Lubu and the implementation will start very soon. Honorable Member of Parliament for Constituency 73, Honorable Helen Kuyembe, said her constituents are very eager for the project. She advised the youth to prepare for agricultural work while admonishing them to deviate from artisanal diamond mining. She promised that of the interests of women, youths, and other residents will be protected in terms of employment. The team also held discussions with the resident Minister South, Mutar Conte, who also appreciated the project, particularly so when it is going to be implemented in his region, the South. The Chief Executive Officer of SLIPA, Raymond Beki, also held discussions with resident Minister South, Mutar Conte.
The phase 2 of it is also what His Excellency the President has been pushing, which is processing, value addition, so that we can get the premium. And in doing that, they are even planning a phase 2 of setting up a cannery, which Mr. Nyanibo has already told you about. They're setting up a cannery. And in that cannery, they're looking at also employing over 800 people on a 2-shift basis.
Houses constructed on drainage facilities in the Levuma and Poto communities in the west end of Freetown is affecting the free passage of water, causing severe flooding when it rains. The Deputy Minister of Works, Housing and Infrastructure, Madam Khadija Sise, during a cleaning exercise, condemned the act. Daphne Kimama-Kole reports.
According to the Deputy Minister of Works, Housing and Infrastructure, Madam Khadija Sise, most of the people who construct houses along the beaches do not have building permits from the Ministry of Works, Housing and Infrastructure.
We are very, very much disappointed in the way and manner in which people are doing things in this country. There is an extra, a stopwork and which is still continuing to work. So we will work together with the Ministry of Lands, EPA, so that we stop all this nonsense coming on. When they tell people to stop, they have to stop. I don't know where all this is coming from. This is all lawlessness. We cannot continue like that in this country. This is not politics. We cannot continue like this in this country. If they persist, I told them if they continue to work, anybody worker that they meet there, they have to take him to the police. He has to be in police custody.
Member of Parliament, Constituency 112, Shekuba Amani Sano, said they have held several meetings with owners of these unfinished structures and residents along the beach area to warn them on the dangers of living in these communities.
On we own part in the sense of educating that this they pose enough threat to owners of your life. But that thing they possible for relocate them, and I can say other things will involve other people in back for county side. The more reason we try to set up a community-based organization here support. So seeing what they happen so enough for make it say you see, we they in touch with the community and the community said they take responsibility of what they happen at the their community. So I think we got to start at that level. Let them understand the dangers for this they pose. You don't understand. If you don't get them educated on the danger with this pose, when we reach them faster than they now, I think it could be not much tension over there because they're already educated on waiting to happen.
Usman Conte is the chairman, Levuma Network for Peace and Development. He said the cleaning exercise is to get the environment clean to prevent diseases and flooding.
Well, one, basically, we can get flooding where they happen in for every rainy season. They happen 2-3 times per year, each season, each rainy season. So we decided this year, let this thing be a thing of the past.
Environment Officer, Environment Protection Agency Bashiru Kagbu said it is mandatory for the EPA to assist communities in environment-related issues. He said they are working with various communities, especially those that are prone to disaster, to see that they realize the importance of vacating these areas. The Levuma Network for Peace and Development is a year-old organization that was established to foster peace and unity among youths in the Levuma and Poto communities. The organization has close to 100 members who unite to engage in community development exercises.
The acting country representative of Catholic Relief Society, Kwame Akanga, has said the All Peking for Learn project will target over 28,000 pupils in 192 schools in the Koinadugu district. He was speaking during the handing over of equipment and a Toyota Land Cruiser vehicle worth over 60,000 United States dollars to the school feeding project of the Ministry of Education. If Just reports.
The school feeding project is part of the Catholic Relief Services capacity building support to the Ministry of Education to feed children and have a sustainable primary school education. The acting country representative of the Catholic Relief Society, Kwame Akanje, says this current support to the government is a demonstration to contribute to the capacity development of the education sector. He commends the government for implementing a nationally owned school feeding program at local community levels. He adds that 2008 CRS supported the education sector through its Food for Education program, All Peking for Learn. The acting country representative notes that the recent third phase projects will provide school meals, teaching and learning materials, and furniture to roughly 28,586 pupils in 192 schools in the Koinadugu districts. The acting country representative adds that the project falls under the President's recovery priorities designed to accelerate socio-economic development. He calls on government should actively ensure effective implementation, intersectoral partnership, and external technical support to ensure quality delivery.
So there are a number of items that we also like to hand over to the Ministry of Education to support the school feeding program. So these are some of the assets, and it's a pleasure really to hand those over to the ministry. We hope that they will be very useful for ensuring that the needs of the school feeding directorates are met.
The chairman, National School Feeding Project, Sylvester Mill, says he was impressed with the level of support from the Catholic Relief Society. He assures them that the items will be utilized well to achieve its intended purpose. According to the Deputy Minister 1, Ministry of Education, James Molai Kamara, the support will benefit the ministry's plan under the school feeding project. The Deputy Minister describes the gesture as wonderful, noting that CRS has been supporting the government's agenda on education.
Let me assure you that we are going to make good use of them, and I think we're going to benefit from these items. Thank you.
10 heavy-duty Sino-truck vehicles to be used by credible farmer-based organizations, youth groups and women farmer organizations in the country have arrived at the Queen Elizabeth II Cave. Abdul Samsisi has more.
Farm inputs that include seed rice, vegetable, fertilizers, cassava produce, and other related output by farmer operating with linking farmers to market project under the smallholder commercialization program in the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Food Security. The project manager linking farmers to market for the Solomon Kanu told SLBC that the Islamic Development Bank and the government of Sierra Leone provided funds for the purchase of the 10 trucks, which were contracted by the Chinese Wijin company at an initial cost of over $500,000 each. Mr. Kanu said that the trucks will be distributed to 5 operational districts of the project, linking farmers to market in Bo, Bombali, Bont, Tonkolili, and Western Rural Area District.
These vehicles are going to be used by the farmer-based organizations, by youth groups and women groups in transporting their produce from the farm to the market and from the market to the farm. You know, mind you, we are constructing feeder roads. We are also rehabilitating inland valley swamps. We are also going to construct about agricultural business centers. Or more or less, we are going to make some forms of transformation. So with all of these inputs being put in place, we thought it wise that to provide the FBOs with means of transporting, because if you have the road, you have the inland valley swamp that you will use to cultivate. Then if after harvesting you have the road, if you don't have transportation, the problems are still not solved. That is why we are providing this transport facilities to these various groups that will be engaging themselves in agricultural production.
The project manager for the Solomon Kano also highlighted the move by the Islamic Development Bank and the Sierra Leone government aims at complementing the agenda for prosperity with a view of enhancing farmers across the country to transport their produce. Linking farmers to market is a 4-year project funded by the IDB and the government of Sierra Leone, with outcomes to an improved access to agricultural inputs and agro-processing technologies by smallholder farmers, among several others. For SLBC News Freetown, Abdul Samsisi reporting.
The National Protected Area Authority has launched the wildlife display panels at the Freetown International Airport. According to the Executive Director, National Protected Area Authority, Dr. Kole Bangura, the wildlife display panels are to showcase wildlife in Sierra Leone and promote ecotourism in the country. How will the National Protected Area Authority conserve wildlife is the question Judith Sana put to the Executive Director.
We are displaying wildlife of Sierra Leone. These are animals. We take the pictures from the forest we have, the national parks. Some of them are the Freetown Peninsula National Park, some of them are from Motamba-Kilemi National Park, some of them are from the Kangaroo Hills, some of them from Loma Mountains, and some of them are along the sea, the mangroves, what we call the marine protected areas. This wildlife, as you can see, is very beautiful. It's showing the heritage of Sierra Leone. A lot of people don't believe we even have wildlife like this. But these pictures you see, these display panels, remind you that Sierra Leone has something, okay, for the outside world. Diversity hotspot, we have 2,000 different species of plants and 1,000.
So where do we get wildlife in Sierra Leone? What are the communities?
Well, we talk about forests, you find wildlife, you find everywhere, even inside Freetown, you find different types of wildlife. As we go, we will tell you about urban wildlife, certain wildlife which is associated with humans. Rats, for example, guinea ground pigs, we call them pig, all these ones, these are wildlife. They're associated with, they're in close relationship with human beings. And if you go to the Freetown Peninsula, you will see chimpanzees. As soon as you enter Takukama, you will see chimpanzees, Kungu Dam, those areas, Takuyama Stream, and monkeys, different types of monkeys. We don't have one species, we have hundreds of different types of animals. So if you go to the Freetown Peninsula, you see them. That is, if you go to Nobatu River, you enter the forest, you go to places like Kent,
okay.
And so on and so on.
Yes, Doc, NPAA, how do you intend to preserve wildlife in Sierra Leone?
Well, we have to preserve the forests in the first place, because the forests are the habitats for wildlife. Just like you and I, our habitat is the city, okay, Freetown, the city. If I take you from the city to the forest, you will not be able to survive for many days, because that's not your habitat. These animals live in the forest. For example, pygmy live in the water. You have to preserve these habitats or this forest for you to be able to maintain them. Like I said, we believe in ecotourism, and we think ecotourism will boost the economy of this country. In fact, in the future, we believe that after all the minerals are gone, mining has stopped, ecotourism will be the next generation of income generation in this country.
Right, so Doc, I just want to comment quickly, looking at the human activities in the forest, right? So how do you intend to achieve what you are saying?
Well, we have to educate the public in the first place to ensure that they preserve the forest. And also, we do that in many ways. We also have to enforce the law to ensure that people don't just go in the forest and cut it down. Okay, so we do education, we also do law enforcement, as well as we will try to start bringing in income, Okay, that is, this forest will start earning, and this money will be shared between for the NPA and others, including the Ministry of Tourism, as well as the communities that live around this forest.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation has organized the farewell event for the 2016 Chinese Government Scholarship awardees. The Chinese Scholarship is an annual event provided to Sierra Leonean students to further their studies in China and is sponsored by the Chinese government. Hawana to Country reports.
The 2016 scholarship has been described as the highest scholarships being offered at one time to Sierra Leone. 49 students will soon leave the shores of Sierra Leone for China to pursue courses ranging from undergraduate to doctorate degree. The Charter Affairs of the Chinese Embassy in Sierra Leone, Wan Siming, thanked the key players like Education and Foreign Ministries for making the program a reality.
And our government is committed and dedicated to the people-to-people exchanges. So we have sent here the Chinese doctors. We have established the Confucius Institute here, and we are offering the Chinese government stipends.
Mr. Wang said they have contributed in building the human resource base of the country and implored the students to focus on their studies. Deputy Minister of Education too, James Molai Kamara, expressed appreciation to the Chinese government, saying they are pleased with the continued support, describing these years as unprecedented. Mr. Kamara urged them to concentrate on their studies, as education is the key to any meaningful development of a country. Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Dr. Samura Kamara, said their areas of study are relevant to the country's development. He encouraged the students to also learn about China and Sierra Leone, encouraging them to be steadfast in their studies.
We are not looking for excuses for complaints when we go there. My colleague and even himself sharing the facts of the world. The challenges should be facing, but I think it's more important to look at opportunities. So if you have challenges, transform the challenges to opportunities. So by the time you come back, you won't be like someone Kamara standing behind someone.
Dr. Kamara called on the students to return home after their studies to contribute to the development of Sierra Leone. One of the awardees commended the Chinese government for their support to education and promised to make good use of the opportunity. Hawana to Country reporting for SFBC.
The Minister of Education, Science and Technology, Dr. Minkai Luba, has launched a website for the Ministry of Education to help members of the public know the day-to-day running of the ministry. The website, amongst other things, will contain official email addresses of staff of the ministry. Nasiruddin Kuruma filed in this report, read in the studios by Anne-Marie Gekbai.
Represented here are equally eager to provide support and help the ministry realize its vision, not merely to promote the ministry, but more importantly, to help bring about improvement in the quality of education available to Sierra Leoneans. Madam Chairperson, colleague minister, partners in education, distinguished guests, staff of the ministry, ladies and gentlemen, it now gives me the honor and pleasure to officially launch the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology Education website. I thank you all for your attention.
According to the Education Ministry officials, the website should be used as an advocacy tool where the ministry with development partners will interact to develop the sector. Dr. Minkai Luba informed his audience that though it may not be the first government website, but he is rather convinced that it will be the most visited, used, and ultimately the best of all national websites. Education, he says, is a priority to all Sierra Leoneans, and that accurate and current information on education will be accessible to all compatible mobile phones, tablets, or laptops, and network access in any parts of the country. The minister notes that the use of the website does not stop with the provision of information. He adds that they intend to use the website to direct visitors to other websites and platforms for teaching and learning materials, and recordings are being prepared that can be accessed from the website. The website is to be operated in the ministry under the ICT units, and it will be interactive, allows for uploading and downloads larger files, support mailing facility with unlimited accounts, among other functions.
What we need to do collectively is make this website a success. We need to obviously put as much information, as much data up there as we can, so that we've all got access to some of the key documents and some of the key things and some of the key information that's out there. I just want to finally congratulate the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology for yet another key milestone that they're delivering under His Excellency the President's Recovery Plan. Again, this is a very, very important development.
He acknowledges the support of DFID, World Bank and UNICEF for technical and financial support, with the promise of additional support for improvement and to keep the website functioning. The Minister of Youth Affairs, Bai Mahmoud Bangura, thanks the ministry and its partners for providing an education website that will benefit mostly young people in the education sector. Similar sentiments were expressed by the Minister of Sports, Ahmed Kanu.
The magistrate of the Kabia Magistrate Court, Magistrate Abdul Keru, has found the bike riders president of Kambia District, Ibrahim Manua, guilty of conspiracy to commit an offense, and the Kambia Bike Riders Park chairman, Usman Yeli Sanko, of conspiracy to commit an offense and assault. On the 9th of August 2016, police charged the two commercial motorbike riders to court for conspiracy and assault on a vehicle examiner of the Sierra Leone Road Safety Authority, Reverend Francis Kanu Mansari. At the end of the judgment, the public relations officer of the Sierra Leone Road Safety Authority, Abdul Karim Dumbuya, explained to Francis Danema how his authority views the judgment.
People that have the statutory responsibility to enforce the law. If you will recall, on the 21st of July, the bike riders, a group of bike riders in Gambia attacked our vehicle examiner. He was kidnapped, taken to the Colenten River, and was thoroughly beaten. After some time, he was charged, the perpetrators, some of the perpetrators were charged to court. And on the 19th of September, on the 19th of August, sorry, two of them were found guilty. One was found guilty on one count of conspiracy, the other one was found guilty on all two counts, that is conspiracy and assault occasioning actual bodily harm. And they were sentenced. The one with the one count was sentenced for 18 months imprisonment. The other one was sentenced to 3 years imprisonment. They are expected to serve their sentences in Port Loko prisons.
Yes, but PRO, when we spoke to bike riders at Gambia, they were also alleging that the vehicle examiners barely demand money. That is what led to that action.
No, well, you should have taken to ask the three sides: the road safety corps, the bike riders, and the Gambia public. Most of the bikes and vehicles in Gambia are not licensed. We have small number of personnel. Let me say, if you have a capacity in terms of personnel, I tell you, most of those vehicles and bikes will not be along the roads because they don't license. And when once you try to enforce robustly, they accuse you of all sorts of, they bring in all sorts of allegations.
But these bike riders are riding conveniently in the town.
Well,
so don't you think that you're riding with them and giving them allowance to ride?
They are not. You have seen them in Gambia. We have a very small number, about 8 personnel. When they are ready, they say they are asking for money. No, they attempt to give them money because they don't accept. That is why they are fighting them, they are assaulting them. This is not the first time they are assaulting them. You think if they are asking money, assaulting them is a justification? No! If these people are being sent here by a government agency, if they are demand money, solicit, they have somewhere to report them. But by attacking them, and when you are asked to bring in fake, false allegations, that's unacceptable. No way. It is not. They bring vehicles, bikes, they don't want to pay custom duty, they operate them in the district, and when once they are stopped, they say no way. They confront. The bike that was arrested was an unlicensed bike. It has no NRA document. They went to our office, attacked our office, they looted all the bikes that were there. So you say the people are asking for.
He is the Public Relations Officer of the Sierra Leone Road Safety Authority, Abdul Karim Dumbuya, and in that interview with Francis Danema. A two-day training on the role of the security sector in the prevention and management of global health crisis has ended at the Bintumani Hotel in Freetown. Organized by the Center for Governance and Security Policy Initiative, the discussions centered on lessons learned from the Ebola outbreak in West Africa. Participants were drawn from health and security sectors of Sierra Leone, Guinea, Liberia, Nigeria, Senegal, and Côte d'Ivoire. Nasiruddin Kulomar covered the session and filed in this report.
Played a pivotal role in the response to Ebola in West Africa sub-region. What are the lessons learned, and what should be done to enhance better preparedness for future health crises is the main thrust of the regional workshop organized by the Justice Sector and Associate Center for Governance and Security Policy Initiatives, together with the Geneva Center for the Democratic Control of Armed Forces. The outbreak of the Ebola in 2014 in West Africa, particularly in Sierra Leone, Guinea, and Liberia, resulted in more than 28,000 cases and over 11,000 deaths. The workshop, according to organizers, is necessitated by the initiative to facilitate studies to probe into what occurred, weaknesses uncovered in the national, regional, and global response processes to the Ebola. It also explores what should be done to strengthen responses and enhance resilience to such health crises in future. The Minister of Health and Sanitation, Dr. Abubakar Fofana, informs that researches in the area of health crises are very important. The Health Minister says that Sierra Leone government is appreciative of the initiative, which is to facilitate better preparedness to mitigate future epidemics through collaborative and coordinated efforts between the health and security sectors. One of the Mano River Union deputies to the Secretary General in Sierra Leone, Linda Kuruma, explains that in line with the 15 Protocol on Peace, Security and Defense, they have established 22 joint border security and confidence building units across the sub-region monitoring cross-border movements. She adds that it will also take into account prevention and control of communicable diseases like Ebola. In addition, Linda Kuruma has this to say on their post-Ebola recovery programs.
As far as that program is concerned, we are far advanced, and very soon it will be implemented. This is a program that will be implemented by the ministries of gender in the 3 affected countries. It's a social fund. I have no doubt in the governments of the 3 affected countries, and I want to believe when we get to that bridge, we will cross it. But for now, I think everything is going on as planned, and very soon it will be implemented.
Executive Director J&S Associate Center for Governance and Security Policy Initiative Jonathan Sandin says the role of security services has not been systematically addressed. The involvement of the security sector in the health crisis and emergency responses, he says, is becoming more frequent and seen as necessity. The 2-day regional workshop is therefore mainly centered on the role of security services in the 2014 Ebola response in West Africa and build core competencies to prepare for and respond to future health crises.
Our immediate thing is to wrap up the recommendations that emerge from here and then see how we can translate those recommendations into policy briefs, into standard operational procedures, and as well as training and capacity model. What we will call, journalists put it, we now need to look at the donors and potential donors to see how we can design a sub-regional project. And I think if we, global health security at this stage, is how do we bring the whole of government approach between the security forces and the public health institution.
The Ebola crisis has been a wake-up call to the health crisis more seriously, demanding investment efforts to prepare and collaborate to enhance and guarantee better preparedness against future Ebola crises.
And now to end news, a quick look at the main points again. The Senior Vice President of Worldwide Manufacturing and New Business Development has paid a courtesy call on the President at State House. The Sierra Leonean living in the United States, Arun Rashid Ding, has donated a consignment of assorted textbooks to the Mass Communications Department of Fudabe College. And the Deputy Minister of Works, Housing and Infrastructure has condemned the construction of houses along water drainage facilities. Well, that's all we can bring you in this broadcast of News live on the SLBC. On behalf of the news team, I am Kojo Kwafor. On behalf of the news editor, Abubakar Bangura. For more information about our programs, please send us an email to contact us at slbc.sl. Thanks for watching. Good night.